Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to the Healing Empath. I am your healing empath and I am a healing empath. And I hope everyone is having an amazing day or night when you do touch this video and listen to it. Okay, so today's topic, we are going to talk about something that I feel like all of us unhealthy or unhealed empaths know too well. And it's called intensity. But before we get into that topic, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. And hit that like button at the end and turn on your notifications so you can see my see my future videos upload, and then you can listen. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. It's about intensity. Okay, and I know if I felt like this, I know that other empaths, unhealed empaths have felt this way, whether you're a man or a woman. Intensity is that feeling you get when we walk into a room or like when we meet a new person, usually a significant other. This feeling can also trickle into your other sectors of life. Like, it doesn't always have to be relationship wise, but relationship will be the most popular for the feeling to identify the feeling. Okay, so to identify the feeling, I'm going to base this off of love. Okay, love relationships, situationships, or whatever it is that you've encountered in. So it's that pull, that electricity that you feel, that's the intensity that I'm speaking about. And initially it feels like it feels beautiful. It feels magical. It feels almost like a movie, kind of like, fate, like it's fated or like you've known them forever. Okay. But for us as unhealed empaths, that intensity is often the very thing that leads to what? Quote unquote, heartbreak. Okay. Or leading you to, it just doesn't feel good, whatever that is. Even if your heart didn't break, it just feels like a disappointment at times. So if you're an empath and you are an unhealed, unhealthy empath like myself that's inspiring to be a fully healthy, functioning empath, this message is for you. And be sure to make sure you check out my other videos because they all kind of align with the healing process that I'm going through. So if this doesn't maybe align with you too much on whatever part of life you're on, maybe another video will align and then this one will eventually make sense. Okay, so what feels like a deep soul connection, and that's like my experience on, you ever meet somebody and you just feel like this electric magnetic energy? So that can actually be your nervous system reacting to something familiar, but not necessarily healthy. Okay. So for me, what intensity feels like for an unhealed empath. Okay. So it's not just the attraction, right? It's not just the butterflies. It's overwhelming and you feel pulled in very quickly, right? You feel seen, you feel understood, you feel attracted, right? It's just, but very quickly. It's just very quickly. It's an intense, quick feeling. It feels like it's absorbing into your energy, right? And for us, you might think this might mean something. This might mean this is my person, right? This might mean that this can't be, it can't be like a random thing. Or you may think this person feels like a different type of energy. They feel different. But the truth is, intensity connections doesn't always mean alignment. Okay. And again, this can be based off of career. This can be based off of meeting a new friend, or, it doesn't necessarily, but you have to place it. But in order for me to get you guys to understand what I'm talking about, I'm using love because that's more common in the understanding of the intensity that I'm speaking about. Okay. So this person could feel different to you. Okay. But the truth is, intensity, it doesn't always mean what? Alignment. So sometimes the intensity just means like your system is activated, right? It means an activation within your receptors, your nervous system receptors, okay? Now, why do we as an unhealed empath mistake intensity sometimes for, oh, maybe he's my person, right? Or maybe she's my person. Well, it's because as an empath, you don't just feel emotions. You don't just feel your emotions. You don't just feel everyone else's. You feel theirs too. So you feel that person's energy as well. So when you meet someone who may be open or carrying deep wounds within themselves, you feel that as well. You feel them. And now your body responds. So if you're physically attracted and you feel like, oh, this is intense, this is how your body will respond to it, right? So your nervous system will light up, and once your nervous system lights up, your intuition gets louder. Your intuition gets loud. But it's almost like a confusing feeling. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can, and I hope you guys grasp it. I'm sure those that experience it will understand right away. Okay, but again, your intuition, it gets stronger, it gets louder, but then at the same time, it starts to get more confusing. So initially what you felt was intensity, right? You start maybe, because you're an unhealed empath, you may interpret that activation as love or connection or some type of union, right? Some type of destiny. But really, and often more than less, it's your system recognizing that something's familiar, but the familiarity isn't healthy, okay? And then, because it's unhealthy, that dynamic can turn into, at first, it feels like warm, welcoming, and amazing, right? And it feels like really strong chemistry. And then you're constantly thinking about him or her. And then you're on these emotional highs because you're kind of like going too far. And I know, like, as an empath, an unhealthy empath, unhealed one, I've said in other videos, I don't remember exactly which video I said it in, but sometimes we could future fake, kind of like trick our own selves. Again, kind of like what a narcissist does. A narcissist will future fake with you. They will future fake and make all these plans. But an empath, when they're unhealed, we will do that to ourselves about someone, and we'll like push a future to see how they can align with us or see how it will work. And the relationship didn't even have to really hit past go yet, and we're already thinking. But this is a wound. This is unhealed energy. This is not what an empath is like. A healed or a healthy empath that's healthy, they are not future planning so quickly. They assess things differently. Okay, so again, you're on these emotional highs, but slowly, if you guys start to align, so this is when you start to get into a relationship with them, or you might not even be in a relationship with them. It just, again, you had that intense staring moment, you have that intense hellos and like maybe a little flirting, but then things start to slowly shift, and the effort of one of the persons, which is usually the opposite person, it starts to change. So the communication becomes inconsistent, right? Maybe she went from saying hi to you all the time, or communicating with you all the time, and now it's inconsistent. Maybe in your career path, you went, with your coworkers or your boss, they were, consistent, and then they become inconsistent in all type of things, whatever it is, right? But we're sticking to love because it just makes the most sense to talk about, or just relationship that it doesn't really necessarily have to be love, but attraction. So we're talking about things that happen between people that are liking each other for romantic purposes, right? So you feel anxious. Communication again becomes inconsistent. You feel anxious. You feel like you're waiting, or like you're starting to question the connection. And then you start getting breadcrumbs instead of presents. So you feel anxious, you're waiting, you're questioning, you're a little bit confused, and then you start, again, the breadcrumbs come in, and then instead of like forward movement, it's like a push and pull energy. And then suddenly that strong connection that felt so real, right, becomes confusing and draining and even toxic. And this piggybacks off of my reciprocal energy video that I made the other day. But again, this is where the push-pull dynamic begins. So you start to chase for clarity, okay? Whether that is with a crush or whether that is with someone that you just started talking to. You start chasing clarity, and they withdrew, and then you try harder because you're a little confused. You have no clear communication, and then they give like less, right? And before you know it, you're no longer in what you think is a connection or a potential connection. You're in this strange cycle that's very confusing and weird and odd. And you have conversations with your friends or your family members, and you're like, well, I don't know, I thought it was this. And then, trust me, whoever's watching this, I know you felt that before. I know you've had that. Whoever's listening, anyway, had that moment, because I've had that moment. Many people have had that moment. But as an empath, this is definitely resonating for me. When I got the idea to create this, I said, wow, this is actually something that I believe will help others, talking about this. But anyway, let's move on. What's really happening beneath the surface of that intense feeling that you felt in the beginning, right? So underneath all of that, it wasn't just chemistry. Again, it was your nervous system being activated by their wounds and your wounds. Okay? You weren't just connecting to who they are or who they appear to be. You were connecting to what they carry. Is that punching for you? Is that clocking? Because that's a word. Okay? You weren't just connecting to who they are or who they deem to be, who you perceive them to be, right? From the outside. You're connecting to what they carry. Maybe not even what you know yet, but energetically you can feel, because you're a sensitive empath. So you can feel exactly what they carry. So if you haven't, as an empath, healed your own patterns yet, you may feel like a subconscious pull to fix them. Or it's either, it doesn't have to be to fix them. It could be to save them, to fix them, or, drum roll, to earn their love. To earn their love, to be validated. Okay? Again, we're going to get into this deeper, especially with narcissism versus empaths. And I want to show you the similarities, but the polar opposite. Because again, one is on what you would quote unquote more devious energy, which is a narcissist, right? And also depending on what kind of narcissist they are, but they have more of a devious, calculating, malicious energy. An empath does not have that energy. It's the opposite of what the narcissist carries. But what the narcissist carries, an unhealed empath does it unconsciously to themselves, right? So the self-sabotage, empaths do that to themselves. They don't do that outwardly. They do that internally. So let me tell you, it gets deep. This is things that, some people may feel triggered, or it may feel a little uncomfortable to talk about this out loud because we're talking about self. We're not pointing the finger to other people. So it feels odd, it feels strange, and it just doesn't feel like maybe not everybody might agree. But if you really woosah, take some breaths, you can understand this from the point of view that I'm giving. It's not an attack on us as empaths, but this is an awareness so we can heal. Because a lot of us are operating and we say, oh, we're an empath, but we're not operating on the healthy empath stance. We're not at all. Okay? So if you haven't healed your patterns yet, again, you're going to feel subconsciously, oh, I can fix them. I can fix their heart. I can save them. But most importantly, I can earn their love. And again, that's no connection. that is conditioning, whether it's conditioning from that person to you or you to yourself. Okay? So signs that you're experiencing an unhealthy intensity, these are some of the things that you need to watch out for, okay? The connection feels rushed or overwhelming right away. Okay, very overwhelming. Okay, you feel anxious more than you feel at peace. You should feel calm and at peace when you see someone that you like. You shouldn't feel this strong, this overwhelming, intense feeling. Even though it feels kind of good because it's exciting, it triggers those toxic receptors in your brain, right? Honestly, that feeling is the feeling you need to watch out for when it's like overwhelming. It feels like stronger as you get closer to that person. It's stronger and stronger. It doesn't feel like a loving, peaceful vibe. It feels more like this it's just like this magnet. Like if you have a magnet and you're pulling on that magnet, and you know how you see the visual of a magnet and what it actually does, but you can't see it obviously in real life. But on TV, they show you like examples of those waves that come from a magnet. That's kind of how it feels. But that feeling isn't always good. Again. Okay? So you feel anxious more than you feel peaceful, and their behavior starts to become inconsistent, but you maybe justify it. You might justify it subconsciously, and you feel emotionally dependent on their attention or validation. Now all of a sudden you feel, okay, even if it's simple as a crush, you could see a crush, and all of a sudden the crush at you work at a big corporate company, and maybe your crush is on floor 2 and you're on floor 3, but he comes up or she comes up to floor 3 to maybe drop off things every Monday and Wednesday. And when they come, they always stop in, they always say hi. They may even flirt a little bit. They stare at you as you walk by and all the things. And then all of a sudden, if the connection didn't go anywhere, and everything starts to shift and change, you see that person maybe speaking to other people, and they look at you and they just give you like a quick hello and keep it moving, and things start to change. Now you're dependent and wondering, hey, why this person don't come by my office no more, and they don't pop in and say hi? Why they don't look at me anymore? Why they don't, I thought they liked me. I thought they were going to approach me. I thought we were going to be cool. That is what I'm talking about, okay? It doesn't even have to be a full-thrown relationship for you to feel this type of thing. It could be as simple as, again, a crush. Okay, so you feel emotionally dependent on their attention or validation, and then you will ignore those red flags because the connection feels just too strong to walk away, because you need more validation. You need more validation because you're confused, and more often than you feel what? Secure. So you're confused now way more than you feel secure. So now you're open to sit there to figure out what's going on. You'll start observing the behavior. Okay? I hope this makes sense. And if this doesn't align with you, that's okay, guys. It's fine if it doesn't align. Sometimes things don't align. But again, if it doesn't apply, just let it fly. All right? Okay, so now let's get into what a healthy attraction versus intensity feels like. Okay? And remember, real connection doesn't leave you in a constant confusion. So, now that we squared that out, we're going to talk about healthy attraction versus intensity. And let's be clear, not all attraction or nervousness or pull is bad. Okay, so I want to be clear. Not all attraction or feeling nervous or feeling, a pull is bad. Not everything is bad. Okay, so you can feel drawn to someone in a very healthy way, but healthy connection feels different. Okay, it does not feel quick and fast, or it doesn't feel like you have to save it. Have you ever felt like that? Before I tell you about the healthy way, but have you ever felt like you were ever in a connection that you had to save, and there was nothing physical, like outright, that was making you feel like the connection was over, but inside you felt like your nervous system was racing around to save something, That's the connections I'm talking about, where you feel like you have to save something and there's no threat that is going to go away that's outright. Okay? So again, you feel like you have to save this connection, and you feel like you have to rush to it. You feel like you have to rush to answer the phone. You feel like you have to you have to be present. But when you're in the presence of this person, it feels like they're leaving quickly. They're not here to stay. That's the connection I'm saying. Like someone could be in your home visiting, and they can take off their coat and leave on their shoes and their hat, right? And then you can tell that they're not going to be staying for a long time. Like, you can just feel it. As an empath, those are the things I'm talking about. Those are the things you have to pay attention to, okay? So, again, you can feel drawn to someone in a healthy way, but healthy connection does feel different. It's much slower, it's not fast, and it's very steady, okay? It's steady, so it's consistent. So if someone is speaking to you, say it starts off slow and they have eye contact, next thing you know, you're saying hi and talking or whatever, but now they're just saying hi. It's slower, it's not rushed. They're saying hi. Things might not be in alignment at the moment, so things are just slower, but it's consistent. They don't start acting weird towards you, like they don't want to talk to you at all, right? It builds over time. Okay, it doesn't leave you guessing your worth or leading you to need validation or attention. It doesn't feel like emotional chaos. Okay, what intensity feels like when you're feeling with an intense connection, it may feel like this is everything. Okay, but with a healthy connection, it says, let's grow this step by step. It's slower. There's no need to rush. It's no need to rush because you're going to be there. Your intentions are there. And both of you are reciprocal. Both of you are matching energy. So, how can we use this method, right? How can an empath use their discernment, right? How do you use your discernment? So how do you protect yourself? Okay. So the first thing you need to do before anything is pause. So you pause yourself when you feel intensity. Okay. Don't run towards it. Just observe it from a distance. Okay. If we're talking about an example of a crush, you observe, you step back. Okay. You still be pleasant. You get out your head. Okay. Make sure you ask yourself, is this feeling peaceful or do I feel overstimulated? Like, why am I thinking about this all the time? Or why am I trying to dissect this too much? That's when you're overstimulating. It needs to feel safe, relaxed, calm, okay? Is this connection even consistent? Or is it just powerful in moments? Is there moments? Like I gave you the example Monday and Wednesday, the guy comes to drop off the material needed for the third floor at the corporate company, and all of a sudden he's in spurts of speaking to you, or she's in spurts of speaking to you and popping in, and all of a sudden it went from like heaviness to where you felt like there would be something or be a friendship or whatever that will come together. But now all of a sudden this person's acting strange and you're thinking, well, what's going on? Did I do something? Like, you're asking yourself all these questions and you didn't do anything. Okay. Now, are you being met? Are you being met with this attention, or are you chasing? Okay. Are you chasing this connection? Chasing may not always feel obvious to you. Chasing is when you let people run space in your head throughout your day. If you're home, or you're at work, or you're with friends, and you're like constantly chasing the person. One thing I learned when getting married and being in a marriage, even though my marriage has ended and I'm no longer in a relationship anymore, I understand the chasing mechanism and what that means. I understand what somebody wants to be with you. I understand the sacrifices that are made when two people want to come together. I also understand the dynamic of chasing. And I think I felt the chasing more than the being met since a youth, and it stems from childhood. So that's where that goes. It feels like you have to save something because you don't want it to leave because you like it, right? So, ask yourself those questions. Am I chasing the thought of this person? Am I chasing? Not if you just think about someone, or if you're thinking about them and you're with your friends, or you're thinking about your sweetheart, and that's not a big deal, okay? But if you're thinking about them liking you or making plans with you, or do they like you? Like if you're asking all these questions and chasing the thought, then that most likely is what I'm talking about as far as like energy wise, okay? So the first thing, one of the things you can do is also ground yourself in reality, not just your feeling, okay? Because we feel so deeply, but not everything that we feel is honestly the truth. Not everything that we feel is the truth. So, all right, I think I'm going to end this here about this, and then I'm going to make like a part 2 down the line, because if I don't, I'm going to veer into something else. Okay, but again, remember, because we are empaths, we feel everything deeply, but because, especially with love, not everything that we feel is valid and truth, and we can confuse it. So I'm gonna slice my own notes that I wrote. Not that everything we feel isn't true. It's everything that we feel is true, but we're dissecting it in an untrue way. So again, we may feel this connection is so strong. It's oh my God, I've never felt like this. But mind you, you felt like this plenty of times. You just forget. And now we're dissecting it and creating a false truth around the facts of the matter. So usually, like when we're going through those things with our nervous system, it's our body warning us to run. Okay, that's the truth. Where our body is telling us to run the opposite way or take a step back and not pour into it because something is just too much. And it has to step back. Because, again, these things ends up, connections like these end up toxic and all the things that are confusing. And that's the problem here, okay? That feeling, it just doesn't feel good, okay? And because we crave love so deeply, that intensity feels like it's proof of it, okay? But again, love doesn't need to feel overwhelming. You know, it doesn't feel, love doesn't need to overwhelm you to really be love or to be real. Okay. And the right connection is not going to feel like something you have to figure out or chase or survive. Okay. It will feel safe. It will feel very clear, and it will feel reciprocal. And most importantly, it just won't cost you your peace. And sometimes I have to re-listen to my videos because this is God-given wisdom. This is God-given wisdom and my ability to be open to heal and to work on myself and take accountability for my own personal experiences. But this also comes in due time. Not everybody is ready to open up to this energy. But if you're listening, you're ready. You're probably already going through it, or maybe you're trying to figure out. You're trying to figure something out. Okay, so again, if this video resonated with you, remember, you're not alone. We're all interconnected with the divine law of oneness. We are all interconnected, so you're not alone. There's other people out there that are trying to heal this pattern. But again, it takes awareness and accountability on your end. And for me, I'm already starting. And if you're listening, you've already started. Because if you didn't start, you wouldn't even be able to listen. You wouldn't even have the capacity to align with this video in this moment. Okay? So, let me know in the comments, guys. Have you ever mistaken intensity for love? Let me know, okay? And if you are on a healing journey, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe because we're going to just keep unpacking this together. We're going to keep healing and keep growing to be the best versions of ourselves. We don't have time to point the finger at everyone else. Let's start pointing the finger within. Okay, it doesn't discredit the things that you've experienced on the out course with other people. It just makes you get your God-given responsibility to love and heal yourself, because you have the right to and you have the strength to, if that makes sense. All right, my lovely, beautiful souls, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Excuse the ums and all those things. I know, it's not going to be perfect here, but the message stands and it comes from the heart. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you tuned in to my channel. And until next time, ciao.